Continuing our reading in The World and Thorinn by Damon Knight. Today is Chapter 5, Section 4. When Thorinn awoke, he had forgotten all that had happened, and at first he did not know where he was. Then joy filled him when he saw his treasures. He potted about among them for a while, examining this and that. If only he could get all this back to the midworld, or even the 1,000th part of it. Thinking deeply, he crawled through the opening in the wall to ease himself outside, came back and opened one of the boxes of cheese for his breakfast. The box was silent and dark. It had said nothing since he had awakened, and that was odd since it had been so garrulous before. "Box, are you there?" The crystal lighted. "I am here." "Tell me, Box, what is above this cave?" "What is this cave?" "This cave," Thorinn said, waving his arms. "This place here, where we are. What is above it?" He pointed upward as he spoke. In the crystal, a brightly lighted little hollow shape appeared. It was like a long, empty box with walls of glass. At one end of it, there was a hollow worm. That must be the passage by which Thorinn had entered. Near the other end, a tiny thread connected the cave to a much larger tunnel above. "Show me where that goes," said Thorinn, pointing. In the crystal, the box shape dwindled, receded, while more of the tunnel appeared. Presently, the tunnel crossed a shaft as big as itself. "And where does that go?" The picture shrank again. Now he could see that the shaft met another tunnel, and above that the dark background ended. "Is that the midworld?" "What is the midworld?" "The top of the earth, where there are no more caves." "That is the midworld." Thorinn pointed again. "How far is it from here to the top?" "What is how far?" "How far?" Thorinn said, waving his arms by way of explanation. "How many ells?" "What are ells?" Thorinn sat down on the floor and stared at the box in exasperation. "Ells are, well, everybody knows that. Ells are how long something is." He spread his hands apart. "This is an L." The box said, "How long are you?" "You mean how tall?" 2 L's. I'm 2 L's tall." In the crystal, 2 yellow marks appeared. "How many?" 2. One of the marks vanished. "How many?" 1. 2 more appeared. "How many?" 3. Another mark. "How many?" 4. The box, Thorinn realized, did not even know how to count. So they went on until they got to 21, and then the box said, 2 10s are 20. "Yes, that's right. And 3 10s are 30. "And 4 10s? 4 10s are 40. 5 10s are 50. 6 10s are 60. At 110, the box stopped him again. 20 10s are 200. "Yes." "It is 332 L's from here to the top." Thorinn sat a while, with his chin on his fist. The geese had never prevented him from going up when there was no other way to go. Therefore, it could surely get into the tunnel. Then, if he could but gain the midworld through the geese, though the geese would be still on him still, he need only keep away from pits and chasms, for no magic could make a man go down through the solid earth. But he could never climb that shaft against the geese, and the geese could only be removed by its maker, or by a greater magician. Struck by a thought, he said, "Box, can you do magic?" "What is magic?" "Magic is, well, for instance, a spell that makes something happen." "What is a spell?" "Well, suppose you want to find something." Thorinn picked up 2 jewels from the heap, a red one and a green. He tossed the red one over his shoulder, hearing it click, and rolled down the aisle. Then he picked up the green one and chanted 3 times, "Brother, find your brother. Brother, find your brother. Brother, find your brother." He threw the green jewel, marking where it went. When he found it, it lay beside the red one. You see, that was a spell. I found the red one by making the green one go to the same place. Not the spell. You found the red one. Incredulous, Thornton tried to explain again, but the box insisted that it knew nothing of spells, and he gave up. Perhaps the magician who had made the box had taken care to teach it no magic, for fear it would become greater than himself. At any rate, why should he not attempt some magic of his own? Many times he had watched Goriath casting spells to keep wolves away, or to make sure the mares would come fresh in the spring, and the foals be born alive. Supposing his spell worked, but poorly, and that it lasted only a short time, still it might be enough for his purpose. He brooded over this a while, then set aside certain articles from the heap, a tiny figurine of an old bearded man who reminded him somewhat of Goriath, slender bits of wood painted with designs on it, a box full of the fine gray powder. Then he wrapped carefully and put away in his wallet. Then he began to consider what else he could take and what he must leave behind. And that's the end of section 4.